The global financial system is undergoing a silent reset. Old paradigms, US dollar, oil, gold, reserve metal. Okay. And the new architecture is that the AED-CNY will be used for settlement and silver will be the reserve asset or collateral. So silver just crossed from commodity to monetary reserve foundation. The world hasn't realized it yet. Wow. Old paradigm, new paradigm. What do you think, Mike?
Well, I think that the very fact that there were two was it the UAE that it was also buying? They bought SLV shares, right? Or was it?
It was Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia. Oh, okay. So, no correlation there.
Yeah.
But the fact that central banks are starting to accumulate silver, that it has started, there's that silver is going to be added to gold as a reserve asset, a collateral. And so some of this is absolutely true.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, definitely. So a lot of times we talk about silver as either an industrial metal or a monetary metal, and its role changes over time. It seems now like it is a strategic metal, which is both at the same time. It's both of those things simultaneously. It's just like the language, critical mineral or strategic mineral,
Right.
that type of thing. So silver is absolutely rising in prominence, no question. But the way this tweet kind of phrases it is the old paradigm is that gold was reserves. In the new paradigm, silver is reserves. Almost like gold is not going to be used anymore by central banks. So that I don't agree with that at all. I think gold is going to maintain it. Gold is going to maintain its role. It's just the role of silver is elevating. So
yes, it's sort of becoming a bimetallic standard in central banks now. But the U.S. used to have the world's largest silver stockpile, the Strategic Silver Reserve, and then they got rid of it, and most governments got rid of it after we went on the international gold standard. Silver started to become demonetized, was relegated to coinage and some small promissory notes, silver certificates, and then totally abandoned. And then they liquidated the strategic stockpile that was for war and everything else. And now they're realizing, oh, we made a mistake. And so they've got to accumulate again because you cannot conduct warfare. You cannot, we're in a technology race right now with China. And you cannot conduct a technology race without silver. There's just so many things that where silver is absolutely required and gold is not. That would be like a secondary option to silver with the conductivity and everything. And then all of the industry that relies on silver, practically everything has some silver in it. So, yeah.
Exactly. So just wrapping it up here, what Sunil says here, this is why silver is exploding, not because of retail hype, not because of solar panels, not because of inflation. Silver is being monetized by the state level players outside the dollar system. Russia, China, and India just changed the future of money. So I don't know. I'm sort of a little skeptical of his downplaying of these other factors here, Mike. Maybe it's not retail hype. Maybe we agree with that. But solar panels here is a proxy for industry. And
it's all of these things together along with what he is proposing, because those things that he just named here did not stop. They were there before. Silver is, gold has been rising for a while. People are concerned about the economy. A lot of this is investors. So silver is starting to act once again like money. People are protecting themselves with it, and they are making gains with it. And the solar panels as a proxy for industry, batteries, I've been driving electric cars now since my first Tesla was a 2010 Roadster. And my second was a 2011 Roadster. Then I had the 599th Model S off the line in 2012. And I know electric cars are superior. And I used to give people rides in 2012 and 2013 and saying, you just know in 20 years that 80% of the cars being made are going to be electric. And the people that sort of pulled out of the electric race, the companies, they're going to end up dying. They absolutely are. I'm going to get a lot of flack in the comments from this, but they absolutely are superior. There's just absolutely no comparison. And when I drive an internal combustion vehicle, it feels broken. But the demand that this places on silver is incredible. A worldwide shift to our transportation infrastructure being made up of mostly electric vehicles. This is absolutely enormous, and we do not mine enough silver. And so the fundamental supply-demand imbalance is one of the big drivers here. Oh,
that's actually one of the things I wanted to bring up.
Okay.
So even if we aren't so sure about the narrative or the storytelling in that long thread we just went through, these numbers don't lie. We know there's a structural deficit that's been going on for 5 years. We could even call it a 7-year deficit if we include the amount of silver that's moved into exchange traded products. So it's exactly like what you're saying, Mike.
Yeah. Yeah, this fundamental supply-demand imbalance has to drive the silver price, because this has to be corrected, especially with even greater and greater silver consumption in the future. And what we saw is in 2011, silver hit $48, and there was a structural deficit back then. And it persisted for like the next 5 years and then went positive. It takes about, for the mines that already exist, that have been high graded and closed, new prices make the less mineable ore, the ore that has a lower percentage of silver in it and doesn't pay to mine. Sometimes miners will do what's called high grading. You've got a core deposit, and there's less and less silver in the ore as you go away from the core. And they'll do what is economically viable to survive. And that means at low prices, you only mine the highest purity stuff, but you're leaving behind a lot of silver. It's just more costly to refine than you can't make a profit on it. And so they leave that behind. But then silver explodes, and now it's profitable to go back and get it. Those are the mines that can start adding to supply in just a few years. They have to take a mothballed mine and get it back up and running, but it's already been through the permitting process and the Environmental Protection Agency and all of that stuff. And so, but those aren't that many. All of the new prospecting that's going on and finding a claim and turning it into a mine, you're talking 5 to 10 years is like a minimum. And so I'm not expecting to see this to go into surplus until at least 2030. But by then, the demand is going to be growing so quickly, especially with the server centers and the demand for AI. This is going to be growing very quickly. Silver is probably going to remain in a fundamental deficit. So above ground stock, the amount of silver available for industry to buy and investors is going to keep on shrinking and shrinking and shrinking into the early 2030s, most likely. And that means the only thing that can set that in balance is price. And so the price has to go up. It's just a fundamental law of economics. And so silver, everything has to obey these laws eventually. They can break the law for a little while, but they always get caught.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of fabrication demand, this is a chart of silver fabrication demand going back to 1977. It's surprisingly volatile, actually, in recent years. I was expecting it to go up more solidly and consistently, but it's broken into photography, which is going down, and other categories, which I think are all going up: jewelry and silverware, electronics and batteries, solar panels, and other. So, AI and all that stuff, I guess, lumped into this upper category. So I don't know. Does this surprise you?
AI is going to be exploding. Or is that down in electronics? Either way, what we see is, if you look back at the year 2000, all the bars except the green bars, well, the dark blue bars are also about the same size. or even smaller today. But solar panels, look at the rate of growth there. The great rate of growth of electronics and batteries has been slower, but that's going to explode. And we are done with photography shrinking year after year. When digital photography came out, it really wiped out. But the thing that they don't say in this graph, that green line, even though there's less silver being purchased from the market, there is also less supply because all of that photography, this is for the negatives. The film stock has silver in it. And I can't remember if there is silver in the developing solution, but all that silver gets recovered and comes back to market. So it was stuck in this loop. So that demand was also supply. That is sort of done now. X-rays had silver in them. That's all been, so like 85% of that photography demand was also supply. It came back labeled as scrap. Point of that is that that's more supply going away. That green line going down isn't just demand going down, but it's supply going down. Jewelry has been a little bit static since 2000. And as price goes up, jewelry and silverware will shrink because it's getting more and more expensive. Well, actually not. People buy gold jewelry. So as silver becomes more prized, there's going to be a lot of silver necklaces and stuff. But I would expect batteries and solar panels and other uses to absolutely explode. So this chart, there is no way for this, no direction for this chart to go except north.